So my point is, I've tried all kinds of things. And obviously I'm still having the problem, but they're back. I mean, they were gone. What worked well before, I'll show a video here. I have a laser, and it worked well before, where there were hawks in the nest, and I would just go out each night, give it a little bit of laze, and then and let them decide if they wanted to live somewhere where every night, their nest would light up like a like a blue flame. That's the nest that I think they're in. So if they don't like light, this should bother them. But I don't see anything moving. So maybe they were just hanging out there today. That's better than having them live in it. So, and I don't know if it was me who, and I really only did it a couple times. I think what really drove them out, okay, so we had this whole thing, there's a nest, hawks were in it, and I have video from way back then the owls came, and the owls drove the hawks out, and then the crows came, and the crows drove the owls out, but then the crows didn't occupy the nest. So then the nest was dormant, and I've been waiting kind of on pins and needles for, I think it's been a year now since that happened, and I've been really lucky that the hawks didn't move back in, because the crows moved out, and I was like, crap, now the thing's dormant and the good guys are gone. But I don't think that's where they're living now, because I keep checking over there, and I don't think that's where. I think the squirrels know, and I think that's what's going on. So, okay, so then you've got what do you do as a human? But then you got to realize squirrels are very smart, and they don't just sit around and do nothing when hawks move in. They have plans too. So what's going on right now, and I've seen this before, is, well, there's a couple things that can happen. Squirrels can do a mass exodus. They've done that before. You just vacate the area and let the hawks find out, hey, nobody lives here. Hawks leave, squirrels come back. I've been through that. And there were other problems that complicated it at that time. Like, I was feeding riffraff, and I was getting unmistakable looks from Condo Girl telling me not to do that, but I didn't understand at that point how much danger I was putting my squirrels in by feeding other squirrels. And now, more than ever, this is exactly why, and I have some video that I'll put in here to show what Hansi did today, because, so Hansi, she's only, the smart squirrels, the older squirrels, 2-pack, Hansi, Pippi, they are only coming out for like 5 to 10 minutes, eating with me just as fast as they can, and then getting back to their cabin, because what they're trying to do is show nobody lives here, there's nothing to see here, move along, to get the hawks out. Unfortunately, the riffraff screws all that up, because the squirrels that live here are sequestering themselves, and there were tons of them. Tonight I saw little guy who lives down the lane, formerly little girl who lives down the lane. So now I guess little squirrel that lives down the lane, little guy that lives down the lane. He came tonight. I haven't seen him in days. He's been sequestering himself. Mealy Mouth came again just for 10 minutes or whatever. 2-pack. Who else did I see tonight that I hadn't seen? Seems like there was somebody else, but they're doing a good job of just sequestering themselves to keep the squirrel activity. They're trying to make it look like there's no squirrels that live here, so the hawks will leave. But then you've got your riffraff, and they're thinking, oh, all the squirrels that live here are gone or hiding or whatever, so they're going around looking for all the nuts that are buried. And I mean, at least I'm not feeding them. At least I'm smarter than that this time, because the last time this happened, I didn't understand enough, and I was like, ooh, new squirrels, when I was feeding them. You do not do that. Endangers the lives of your squirrels and will give them every reason to leave. So, yeah. So you got to know who your home squirrels are and be able to differentiate them from the riffraff, or you run the risk of running your home squirrels off by feeding the riffraff. So Hansi, like I said, so she had not eaten since last night. She came down, she had one nut from me, one. You would think she'd be ravenous. She hadn't eaten in 24 hours. She was ravenous, I found out a little later. But at that point, but what mattered more than her hunger was her safety. So she saw riffraff going around on the ground. I'll show some video of just how angry it made her that this squirrel was wrecking what she was trying to do, what they're all trying to do. The squirrels that live here are trying to hide, make it look like nobody lives here to make the hawks go away, and the riffraff are walking around, piquing the interest of the hawks and keeping them around. So Hansi just went nuts on this squirrel, and then she chased it all over the place, and then she ended up going back to her cabin and not getting any more nuts, so she only had the one. So as hungry as she was, she would rather just have one nut, potentially for the next 24 hours, just to run this riffraff off, to teach him, get the hell out of here, because he's endangering lives by inviting hawks to stay here. Yeah, it's Hansi. Hansi, don't you want to eat your nut? Wow, do not mess with Hansi. That's the lesson there. Because she only had that one nut, I stayed out on the deck. I waited until it was really dark, and then I called to her, because she's always, she knows her name and she comes when I call her. So I called her, told her I was on the deck, and then I heard little feet on the bark, and I knew here she came, and she, from her one tree, she goes all the way up the one tree, all the way down the next tree, and then comes down and sees me, and it was really cool. Here comes Hansi. I was just yelling to her. I was just saying, hey Hansi, I'm out here if you want to come. It's all dark. Yay. And she's drinking the water that I put out, fresh water for her just, I don't know, an hour or two ago. This is great. Come on, phone. There she is. There she is. It's Hansi. But, and then I gave her a bunch of nuts, and she stayed there and just pounded them down, just eating really fast. She was really hungry. And she had a bunch of water, which I purposely put clean water out, because I figure, if the squirrels are going to sequester for 24 hours, when they come out, they're going to be thirsty. And especially Hansi's a big water drinker. So I made sure she had, and she drank a ton, which felt good to see. Pippi came out this morning, so I'll show a little video on that. That was another surprise. So just like Hansi coming way late at night now, Pippi came way early in the morning. She was here at 6:35. I have video from the surveillance that shows when she got here. And I swear, I do think they have some kind of ESP, because I don't know what made me look out the window at 6:42. So I think she came at 6:37 is what I saw on the video. And then I looked out the window at 6:42 at the deck, and there she was. And I was like, holy crap. And so she purposely came earlier than anybody would wake up and trying to beat the hawks. And I fed her this morning, and then she went back. So the strangeness continues. Pippi's here at 6:42 in the morning. I was just in bed, and I looked out, and I'm like, oh my God, there's a squirrel, and I sure didn't expect it to be her. I got a light on behind me. It's still kind of dark. Not dark, but it's not light. Yeah. Wow. So she didn't come last night. She came today. I'm sure she's avoiding the day hours. So, all right. Hey, baby boo. Oops. There you go. It's so dark. She just put her little tooth a little bit on my thumb, and she knew immediately. Took it off. Things are different now. But this is how it's going to be now until they can get the hawks out of here, or I can get the hawks out of here. We've been through it before, and we'll go through it again. The only difference now is they're closer with me. They're comfortable in the house now. So Um, it used to be just I would be hanging around outside and then they would come up to me, but now they don't have a problem coming up to the door wall and letting me know, hey, I need your help. So that's what's changed, and it's a good change. Makes my life a little harder because I got to be up way earlier and I got to stay with them, like with Hansi or whatever, way later. And like I wanted to go to Lowe's tonight, but I needed to put off doing that. I wanted to wait for her, wait till it was fully dark, and then oh, how the days get longer when it turns into summer. It gets harder. I last summer I was looking forward to winter so I could have the shorter hours, more time to myself. But the days are going to start getting longer again. Well, they already are. So it makes it harder to do my job, live my life. There is no life. This is my life. But I don't care. I mean, it's worth it. I'm not going to just lose one because I'd rather watch a TV show. That's just not an option. So I'll try putting this thing together now and slapping it up on YouTube tomorrow.